MODOK vs. Hector Hammond, the Battle of Big Brains. The video opens with a dynamic montage of comic panels and artwork featuring MODOK and Hector Hammond. Electric guitar riffs play in the background as their images zoom toward the center of the screen. Sparks fly, and the title flashes, MODOK vs. Hector Hammond, the Battle of Big Brains. Hey there, folks, welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the world of comics and all things superhero. If you're new here, I'm your host, Alex, just a comic book nerd sharing my passion with all of you. Smile today, we've got something special lined up. We're pitting two of the most formidable minds against each other in an all-out hypothetical showdown. That's right, it's MODOK from Marvel versus Hector Hammond from DC. The ultimate battle of the big brains. Exploding head. Ever wondered what would happen if these two giant-headed geniuses went head-to-head? Well, wonder no more. Grab your favorite snack, get comfy, and let's get right into it. So, superheroes and villains. They come in all shapes and sizes, right? We've got the muscle-bound powerhouses, the speedsters, the ones wielding magic or tech. But today, we're focusing on two characters who prove that brains can be just as deadly as brawn. MODOK and Hector Hammond might not be the first names that pop into your head when thinking of big battles, but trust me, their mental might is a force to be reckoned with. We're going to explore their origins, powers, strengths, weaknesses, and then imagine what would happen if these two ever clashed. Sound good? Let's dive in. Who is MODOK? First up on our roster is MODOK. Now, if you're thinking, wait, isn't that the guy with the giant head and tiny arms and legs floating in a chair? You'd be spot on. Open Mouth Smile MODOK, which stands for Mental Organism Designed Only for Killing, started life as George Tarleton. George was a humble technician working for AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics, a shady organization notorious for their high-tech evil schemes. One day, his bosses decided they needed a super-intelligent being to help them process a cosmic cube, because why not? And poor George was volunteered for the job. The experiment worked a little too well. George became a super genius, but at the cost of his body becoming, well, let's say, disproportionate. His head grew enormous, and his limbs became tiny and weak, forcing him to use a hover chair for mobility. And just like that, MODOK was born. MODOK's primary power is his superhuman intelligence. We're talking calculations and strategizing at speeds and complexities way beyond any normal human. But that's not all. He's got psionic abilities, including telepathy, mind control, and the ability to generate force fields. He can shoot energy beams from his forehead, because where else would they come from? And he's a mastermind when it comes to advanced technology. With AIM's resources at his fingertips, he's crafted some seriously impressive weaponry and gadgets. Throughout Marvel history, MODOK has been a recurring villain for several heroes. He's clashed with Captain America multiple times, tried to take over the world, as one does, and even had run-ins with Iron Man and the Hulk. One notable storyline is MODOK's 11, where he assembles a team of supervillains for a heist. A supervillain Ocean's 11, if you will. It showcases his cunning and ability to manipulate others. Personality-wise, MODOK is arrogant and egotistical, convinced of his superiority over, well, everyone. His desire for power and recognition drives his actions. But his physical limitations, being essentially a giant head, mean he relies heavily on his technology and hover chair for mobility. This dependency can make him vulnerable, but don't let that fool you, he's a formidable opponent. Who is Hector Hammond? Next, let's talk about Hector Hammond. If MODOK is Marvel's big-headed villain, Hector is his DC counterpart, but with his own unique twists. Hector was a petty criminal looking for a quick score when he stumbled upon a meteorite that had crashed to Earth. This wasn't just any space rock, it was from a species called the Efflorans, and it emitted radiation that mutated organic matter. Hector exposed himself to this meteorite's radiations, causing his brain to grow exponentially. His head became huge, and just like MODOK, his body couldn't support it, leaving him immobile. But on the flip side, he gained incredible mental powers. Hector's newfound abilities included genius-level intellect and powerful telepathic skills. He could read minds, project his thoughts, control others, and even manipulate memories. He also developed telekinesis, allowing him to move objects, or people, with his mind. Energy manipulation? Yep, he's got that too. Basically, if it involves the mind, Hector's your guy. As a primary antagonist to Green Lantern, Hector has played significant roles in several storylines. He's tried to steal the energy of the Green Lantern's power ring, attempted to control entire populations, and even involved himself in cosmic events affecting the broader DC universe. His constant quest for more power and freedom from his immobile state often puts him at odds with heroes. Hector is a complex character. Driven by envy and resentment, he longs for the normal life he lost after his transformation. His inability to move fuels his anger, making him more determined to use his mental powers to assert control over others. He's intelligent but emotionally volatile, which can make him unpredictable. Comparing their strengths. Now that we've got the backstories down, let's see how these two stack up against each other. Both MODOK and Hector have superhuman intelligence, but their intellects manifest differently. MODOK's intelligence is engineered for strategic thinking and technological innovation. He's a master planner and inventor. Hector's intellect, while also genius level, is more focused on understanding and manipulating the minds of others. So, while MODOK might outplan you, Hector might know what you're planning before you do. When it comes to mental powers, Hector might have the upper hand. His telepathic and telekinetic abilities are incredibly potent. He can control minds, alter perceptions, and move objects with ease. MODOK also has psionic powers, but they're not his primary tool. His mental beams and mind control are formidable, but perhaps not as refined as Hector's. This is where MODOK shines. With the full might of AIM's technology, he's got access to advanced weaponry, robotic drones, and devices that can amplify his powers or neutralize others. Hector doesn't typically use technology, he relies almost entirely on his mental abilities. Neither is winning any athletic competitions, but MODOK's hover chair gives him mobility and speed. Hector is stationary due to his massive head and paralyzed body. In terms of physical movement, MODOK has the clear advantage. Analyzing their weaknesses. Even the mightiest have their Achilles heels. MODOK's dependency on his technology means if you take away his gadgets, he's in a tough spot. If his hover chair gets disabled, he can't move. Hector's immobility is a huge vulnerability. While his mind is powerful, his physical body is defenseless if someone gets close enough. Both characters have significant ego and arrogance. MODOK's overconfidence can lead him to underestimate opponents or overlook crucial details. Hector's envy and bitterness can cloud his judgment, making him act impulsively. Using massive mental powers isn't without cost. Both can experience fatigue if they overexert themselves. Additionally, both are susceptible to mental attacks if they encounter someone with stronger psychic defenses or abilities. Hypothetical battle scenario. Alright, let's set the scene for this epic clash of the titans. Imagine a scenario where MODOK, in his quest for greater knowledge, breaches the barriers between universes. He stumbles upon the DC universe and detects Hector Hammond's psychic presence, a mind unlike any he's encountered. Intrigued, he seeks Hector out, and they meet in a deserted, futuristic city, a perfect battleground free of distractions and civilians. MODOK, ever the strategist, analyzes Hector's abilities and prepares his defenses. He activates psychic dampeners and deploys drones equipped with various weaponry. Hector senses MODOK's intentions and prepares to intercept his thoughts, aiming to control or neutralize him mentally. The battle begins. MODOK unleashes a barrage of energy blasts and missile attacks from his hover chair. Hector counters by telekinetically redirecting the missiles back at MODOK. He attempts to invade MODOK's mind, but MODOK's psychic shields deflect the intrusion. The air crackles with energy as they exchange mental and technological attacks. MODOK's tech starts to overwhelm Hector's defenses. He launches a device that emits frequencies designed to disrupt psychic abilities. Hector feels his control slipping. However, Hector, in a last-ditch effort, focuses all his mental energy to telepathically overload MODOK's mind, causing him to experience hallucinations. Both are pushed to their limits. In the end, it's a stalemate, with both realizing that continuing the fight could lead to mutual destruction. Perhaps they'd even consider an uneasy alliance, recognizing the potential of combining their intellects. But who knows? In comics, anything can happen. Impact on their universes. Such a battle would have significant consequences. If MODOK managed to access the DC universe, it could open up new threats for DC's heroes. Similarly, Hector learning about alternate realities could amplify his ambitions, affecting future storylines in both universes. Fans would be ecstatic. Crossovers like this are the stuff of dreams. Debates would rage on forums about who should have won and why. It would be a landmark event in comic book history. Previous crossovers and battles. Let's take a quick trip down memory lane. Back in 1996, we had the Marvel vs. DC crossover event where heroes and villains from both universes faced off. We saw matchups like Superman vs. Hulk and Batman vs. Captain America. The Amalgam Comics even merged characters into new ones. Remember Dark Claw, the Wolverine and Batman combo? These crossovers show that while power levels vary, the real draw is the interaction between characters and the storytelling possibilities. It's about fan service and exploring what-if scenarios that get our imaginations running wild. Theoretical implications. Comparing characters from different universes is tricky. Each universe has its own rules, power scales, and physics. But that's part of the fun, speculating how abilities would fare against each other when the playing field is leveled. A battle like this could be a springboard for more crossover events. It could lead to team-ups, new rivalries, or even combined threats that force heroes and villains to work together. The storytelling possibilities are endless. Now, I want to hear from all of you. Who do you think would win in this battle of the brains? Are you siding with MODOK's technological prowess or Hector Hammond's raw psychic power? Drop your thoughts, theories, and reasons in the comments below. Let's get a lively discussion going. I've set up a poll. Check the link in the description and cast your vote. I'll be sharing the results and some of your comments in the next video. Don't miss out. Conclusion. Today, we've delved into the minds, literally, of two of the most intellectually formidable villains in comics. We explored their origins, powers, strengths, weaknesses, and imagined an epic battle between them. It's been a thrilling ride, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. At the end of the day, whether MODOK or Hector Hammond would win is up for debate. Both have unique advantages and potential weaknesses. What's clear is that a confrontation between them would be mind-blowing, pun totally intended. Smirk, thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive into comic book lore. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Until next time, keep reading, keep imagining, and stay awesome. Special thanks to all the amazing writers and artists who've brought these characters to life over the years. Your creativity fuels our imaginations. Music by. Insert royalty-free music credits, artwork and images are owned by Marvel and DC Comics. Wait, before you go, here's a sneak peek at some bloopers from today's shoot. Enjoy. Alex mispronouncing a Florence, accidentally knocking over his stack of comics, and laughing at his own puns. Alright, that's all for today. Thanks again for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace out, Scissor.